Gosh shucks. What a wonderful day it is, isn't it? Is that a zombie on my lawn? Wait a minute. This isn't my lawn. This is an apartment.
Plants vs. Zombies is a good frickin' game. So frickin' good that since its release in 2009, it has gotten a pay-to-win sequel, 3 hero shooter spin-offs which are pretty fun, a card game, and now finally, in 2024, Plants vs. Zombies 3 is coming out. But I ain't talking about none of that nonsense. All of that happened after EA bought out the original team. I'm here to talk about the OG PopCap made Plants vs. Zombies. I have the DS, the DSi version, the Xbox version, and the PC version. Hold your horses, I'll get to all of them, but for the most part you'll be seeing PC footage, because 1, it's the easiest way to capture, it's the only version that I beat all the way through, and it's also Bjorn's intended way to play.
Right, Plants vs. Zombies. Here we go. Ready, set, plant. I'm not gonna lie, the intro is kinda boring.
Okay, I know an introduction is supposed to ease in new players, especially if it's for a game in a genre that isn't very popular or well known, but geez, the first few levels drag so hard if you have even the basic idea of what you're doing. I had to play through this 3 times for this video, so just let me complain a little bit. Alright, gameplay. What do? Well, it's really quite simple. You get magical sun currency from the sky and you use it to place plants in order to defend your house against zombies. If just one zombie gets into your house, he eats your booty, and that's not very good. Soon, the zombies start dropping money, and you can use it to buy things from your neighbor, Crazy Dave.
Hey guys, what if instead of Crazy Dave, it was Freaky Dave and he sucked toes and ate ass?
If you want to get technical about it, Plants vs. Zombies is a tower defense game at heart, but I think what makes it unique even today is how it's different from most tower defense games. In most games of this genre, the variety comes from the layout, like Bloons Tower Defense for example. The variety in Plants vs. Zombies is from the enemies and plants that you're actually allowed to use. The layout stays the same. The first levels are boring for this very reason. They haven't added any of the special zombies yet, and you just have some lame basic plants. It's like a bread sandwich on white. Luckily, the second world, the night levels, are the exact opposite of this.
The first set of night levels can suck my wiener. You guys like Weezer?
Okay, listen. I don't know who decided the night levels should be second after the boring intro, but they're a freak, 7 days a week. The night levels essentially make most of your day plants useless, as suns don't fall from the sky during the night stages, so you're forced into using the cheaper and way less cool shrooms. Luckily, the shrooms do more damage than daytime plants, so things aren't nearly as boring, especially with the new gameplay additions. They start adding special zombies. For example, they have the Disco Zombie, who spawns extra dancers, and who also used to be Michael Jackson. They also have the Football Zombie, who, he's really strong, fuck this guy. The special zombies introduced work beautifully with the new plants they add as well. Football Zombies giving you trouble? Use the Hypno Shroom and make him go freaky mode on his friends. Zombie dancers? Embrace your inner Obama and blow them up. Oh, and also the Foom Shroom is super broken. I love it. When I was a kid, I used to think the night levels were boring because they started super slow, but now I can appreciate how the low sun cost of plants makes mid-game more fun and setups super quick. After you conclude the night levels, you get to the best area in the whole game, the pool. First of all, the music is frickin' awesome. Secondly, the pool gimmick is insanely good and well executed. Special swimming zombies start spawning, which make the game way more interesting and challenging, because now you have to think about the land zombies and the water zombies separately. Once you're at the pool, frankly it's hard to put the game down. This is where I really got into the groove of playing. Frankly, I think it's the best area in the whole game, bar none if that wasn't clear enough already.
Skip. But when does this game get good?
This is a good time to mention that whoever decided the final level of every world should be a ridiculous plant spam fest needs sloppy. I mean, look at this, it's glorious. But of course, after the daytime pool, you need the nighttime pool, and the gimmick for this area is the fog. I mean, it's not even called night pool, it's called fog. It obscures the vision at the right side of the screen and can be cleared up with the new lantern plant or the fan plant. The fog levels are where I would consider the game actually gets somewhat challenging. I didn't fail at any point, but they do start throwing a lot at you. The fog levels perfectly balance the cheap shrooms out by requiring higher cost plants like the Chad Cactus for the balloon zombie, or the Double P guy for the miners. Also, miners fucking suck because they eat all my sun shrooms, and then I have to plant them again, and they're small, and when they're small they only give 15, so it messes up with the 25, and it messes, fuck it, screw it. And the final fog level sucks, 0 out of 10. Alright, after that, it's endgame. The zombies called their dad and got a ladder up to your roof. The roof is slanted, meaning you need to use catapult plants to hit anything that's far away. A minor criticism I have of this game is that each new area makes some plants irrelevant due to the circumstances, and I feel like it'd be a better game if being on the roof didn't mean whoops, pea shooters are basically useless now. It's clear that they thought it was an issue because they give you the coffee bean, which lets you use shrooms during the day. Anyway, after fighting through the roof levels, you finally get to face... Wait a minute! Dave! Watch out! Dr. Zomboss captures Dave and takes the fight to us in his robot suit. Luckily, in the actual game, he doesn't touch you freaky, and instead he just kinda shoots balls. Bit rude, but okay. Honestly, the fight's kind of underwhelming. They really spam the watermelon pult, which is the best plant in the entire game. With Dr. Zomboss defeated, you finally completed adventure mode, and what's that noise? Before we get past the main story, I'd just like to mention that after you beat it, you can replay it and it's a harder version, but that's whatever. Let's talk about other stuff. At this point, you may be expecting me to talk about all the side content, but no. It's time to talk about the other versions. For starters, at the beginning, I mentioned that I have the DS and the DSi version, and you may be wondering what the difference is. To start with their differences to the main version, they have worse graphics, they're prone to lag and glitches, and they're actually harder. You're only allowed 9 plant slots compared to 10 in the other versions, and some zombies are actually stronger, notably the football zombie, which is rough. That sucks, but the DS version is still perfectly playable if you have it laying around. The way that the DS and DSi version differ is largely in extra content. The DS version got its own exclusive minigames, which are absent from the DSi version, along with puzzle mode, survival mode, and Zen Garden. Most performance-related issues are present in the DSi version as well, so it's purely an inferior version. I like the minigames a lot, but we'll get to that. First I want to talk about multiplayer. The multiplayer is only in the DS and console ports, so that's PS3 and Xbox 360. On consoles there's versus and co-op, while on DS there's only versus. The co-op mostly consists of the second player putting butter on zombies' heads to stop them, and not much else. The versus, on the other hand, is a bit more involved. One side plays as plants and the other as zombies, and it is insanely chaotic. It's a great time, but not something to take seriously. In general, the multiplayer is zombie-sided, and on the DS version with the broken football zombie, just no. Anywho, to wrap up comparing versions for just a little bit, the Xbox version is almost identical to the PC Game of the Year version, with multiplayer added, so there's not much to talk about. The main things to bring up are the differences between the physical and digital versions. The physical version comes with the demos of Peggle and Zuma, 2 other PopCap games. Peggle and his sequel are great fun, and a nice bonus to try out. I don't really care for Zuma though, maybe that'll change someday. I used to own this game, but my local game store has it for $40, so I no longer own it. The digital version instead gets a mini-game called Heavy Weapons, which is based on another PopCap game called Heavy Weapons. The digital version also gets a 10-level co-op adventure with a co-op endless on top of that. Finally, it's got house customization, which is neat. If only I could customize the other house. I need more Vicodin, woman! You have AIDS! Neighbors being loud. Can't get to work on time. Zombie apocalypse? Try Doom Shroom. Golly gee, Mr. Disembodied Voice, what's Doomsh... You're lucky I'm on your side. I could destroy everything you hold dear. It wouldn't be hard. Plants vs. Zombies has a raging hard-on for minigames, and as discussed before, some are exclusive to certain platforms. Because I somewhat value my time on this planet, I did not fully complete every version to talk about the minigames. I was going to originally, but I have this thing called a job, and realized this video would never get made if I did all that. And also then I would have to play the mobile and iOS versions, and I don't even own an Apple device. Alright, minigames. Let's jump right in, cause there's quite a few. Zombotany is the first one unlocked, and it's pretty cool. Zombies have plants on their heads, and they be shooting. It's simple and effective. Zombotany 2, which is unlocked later, has more variants and is much harder, but still, it's pretty good.
You see that shit? That's how fast we're going. Lightning round!
Walnut Bowling is another simple one. You hit the zombies with the bowling ball. It's harder than the one in the main story, but not very thrilling. Walnut Bowling 2 almost had me restarting, but I'm super skilled and got that first try too. The last of the minigames unlocked at first is Slot Machine, and honestly it's whatever. It only has plants from the first world, and is in the boring first world as well, so naturally it's nothing special. You win by getting enough sun from the slot machine, but that isn't very hard, and neither is surviving the horde while you're doing so. It's unremarkable. After you beat the story, you unlock all the other ones. Running down the list we got, it's Raining Seeds. Plants come from the sky and that's kinda it. You place them and it's regular Plants vs. Zombies. It was a nice break level in the main story, but on its own, I would probably never talk about it once in my life if not for this video. Bejeweled and Bejeweled Twist are pretty sweet. As you may have gathered from the names, they're just Bejeweled and Bejeweled Twist, but with the zombies occasionally eating one of the plants and having to replace it. I'm a fan of Bejeweled, so naturally I have no issue with these. I will say that Bejeweled Twist is much easier due to being able to spam the twist mechanic more than the standard single tile swap. And Invisighoul has invisible zombies.
Hopefully you guys can see why I didn't want to play through Plants vs. Zombies 4 times just for this video. I mean, I know I'm not a dedicated Plants vs. Zombies player, but surely I'm good enough. Right?
Seeing Stars is another entry in the whatever category. You literally just plant in all the spots. Next, Zombaquarium is literally just a teaser for the aquarium part of the Zen Garden. Let's keep it moving. Little Zombie Big Trouble spams little baby zombies that have less health, and then Portal Combat has portals. I'm sorry for rushing through, but there's really not much to say. Admittedly, Portal Combat is one of the more interesting ones. If you've played Portal, you know what's going on, and it's not challenging, but the novelty was enough to keep me entertained for its short runtime. Next we have Call 'em Like You See 'em. Call 'em Like You See 'em was the first one that actually gave me a challenge, but in a weird way. In this minigame, planting one plant places them across the entire column, and the plants given aren't exactly random. Your success is more dependent on how you first set up. I would actually like more of this minigame. A pool variant would be really cool, I think. Following this relatively neat minigame, we get Bobsled Bonanza. Fuck this minigame. That's all. It's already had enough of my time. Zombie Nimble Zombie Quick ends the tiny streak of minigames that are mildly interesting. The zombies are fast and there's more gymnastic zombies than usual. That's it. Lots of these minigames only have pages on the wiki because they wanted to be thorough and not because anyone wants to read up on them. Whack-A-Zombie falls into the same category as Raining Seeds for me. It's a fun break in the campaign, but it's not nearly challenging or varied enough. I do think a Whack-A-Zombie on the roof would be pretty fun though. I don't know how they do that because there's no graves, but I'm sure they could figure it out. Alright, we're almost there. Stay with me. Last Stand is great. You get 5,000 sun and you're not allowed to generate your own at all. The goal is to survive 5 flags with beefed up zombie spawns in the pool. It's pretty challenging. However, because the minigame is all about planning the perfect defense, it should be in the puzzle section. That means I'm gonna have to give the point to Tears of the Kingdom. Pogo Party is another minigame that should really go into the puzzle category. The sole gimmick is most zombies are pogo zombies, and this means you need a pretty specific or random setup to win. Fundamentally, it's identical to Bobsled Bonanza but with a different zombie type, but Bobsled Bonanza is worse, so suck it. The final minigame is Dr. Zomboss's Revenge. It's a harder version of the final boss, so not much to say, though I do wonder how he manages to throw a single RV 17 times without picking it up.
All in all, the minigames are pretty unremarkable. When I was a kid, I thought they were pretty good, but but not gonna lie, making this video made me realize just how much filler there really was. Luckily, our next category, the puzzles, have much less.
The puzzle category actually only has 2 games, iZombie and Vasebreaker. In iZombie, you control the zombies and you have to take out cardboard cutouts of the plants. The strategy comes in with the wacky setups and the need to eat sunflowers in order to place more zombies. It's possible to get some no-win situations, but in my experience you have to be pretty willy-nilly. To be honest, I really couldn't care for it beyond playing it for the video. My true love lies with Vasebreaker. I frickin' love Vasebreaker. All you do is break vases, and each vase has a chance to have a zombie or a plant. It may seem lame, but I think it's pretty dang fun. In Endless Vasebreaker, they add more gargantuan zombies, which means you do need a mild amount of thinking. I find it fascinating how the 2 puzzle games require less thinking and strategy than some of the mini games, but that's whatever. I mean, like legitimately, not even kidding.
Man, I wish I could do that in a video game.
The Zen Garden is exactly what it seems like. You take care of plants. You can buy various environments which let you take care of more plants, but the general loop stays the same. Along with having some relaxing music, it's also the best money-making method in the whole game. Selling plants is always profitable, no matter what, so if you need to grind a bunch for those late-game shop items, just open Survival and farm zombie sprout drops. Survival is the last gameplay mode to talk about, and it's what you would expect. You have to survive 5 horde flags, and then you win. There's one for each world, plus a hard and an endless variant. Something I noticed while messing around with Endless is that I really wish Endless was unlocked before beating everything else. By the time you unlock it, you probably don't want to play it anymore, and this is a criticism that also applies to the puzzle games. A few points throughout recording, I really wished I could just chill out and play some Endless, but no, I had to beat everything else first.
Well, that's Plants vs. Zombies, a classic that's still pretty fun. While the rest of the series has been milked to death, PvZ1 is still pure and simple. I don't really know how to end this relatively deep dive, so I guess